Hey guys, how's it going? It's Dave. You know me as TangoDeltaSix. Wanted to come at you today with a new episode, a new video, and today we want to talk a little bit about philosophy and cryptocurrency, and how my experience led up to a philosophy that I use when I'm stacking the investments into new tokens that are reflective coins. But first, I want to say thank you for stopping by. Appreciate you being here. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. We're going to try to send out new content every day or every other day moving forward, just to try to help you out, kind of cataloging my crypto journey and helping you to learn some of the philosophies that I'm using that are successful or maybe not successful. Either way, we'll share it with you, and hopefully you can gain some insight that'll help make you better at what you do. Nothing that I'm sharing with you here today is financial advice. I'm simply giving you an idea of where I am in my headspace so you can kind of see what my thoughts are and what my processes are. I've been in business for myself for over 30 years. I've had some pretty good success with a lot of the things that I've done. And cryptocurrency is something that I've been doing for a few years now, just kind of piddling with it in the beginning, but have built a very decent portfolio and had some good success along the way. So I just want to share with you some of the thoughts and things that got me to where I am today. Thank you for being here, and let's get started. All right, so the first thing I want to talk to you about is philosophy. Philosophy is really just about what you think, how you hold that in your mind, and then how it affects you in your daily activities. I learned early on in my entrepreneur career that how you think about something can change the entire way that you operate your business. Some people look at things in a positive light, other people look at things in a negative light, and you can typically see that how that fleshes out in their lives as to whether or not they're extremely successful or they're always just kind of looking for something else. So the idea here is to find something that works for you, find a thought process that you really like, and then stick to it. For me, learning about philosophy was not so much like studying Socrates, but really more just how do you think about the way things work in your life? For me, I always found that I would start something and I'd get halfway through it, I would lose focus or I would lose interest or I would just, something else would pop up and I'd move on to something new. If that's ever happened to you, you know it's kind of tough to stick through and finish what you start. So for me, I had to learn a new philosophy, and that is that you basically want to know what your exit is when you start something. So if you know where the exit is when you begin, then it's easier for you to find a way to get there, because if you know what the exit looks like in your mind, you'll know when you get there that you've achieved success or that you've hit your goal or your mission or whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish. The second thing you have to do once you know your exit is you have to know, you have to have a plan. You have to put a plan in place that's almost like a roadmap. You see a lot of these tokens, they come out with roadmaps. And the reason that roadmaps are so great is you have a list that you can kind of check things off as you go. You know where you stand in the process because you can look at what you last checked off and just work on the next step. Sometimes they happen out of order, but the truth is you really kind of know where you're going because you kind of have like, up here, turn left, up here, turn right. You have a map that you can follow or a set of directions. So whenever you know where the exit is, you can prepare a process or a roadmap to get you to that exit. And then finally, you have to learn how to execute on that plan. So the hardest thing to do sometimes is really kind of stick to your guns or do what you said you're going to do. You're going to encounter difficulties along the way. And if you don't have a process written down that you need to go back to, it's hard to execute, because sometimes when things get difficult, it's a lot easier to just give up than it is to stick with the process. And for me, I always found out when I crossed that bridge where I felt like it was time to give up or I felt like something was pulling me down in that direction, I would just go back to my notes and I would say, where am I? where do I go next? So I would look at my roadmap and see where that was going to take me. So that's a little bit about philosophy. Next, I want to talk to you about something called the rat. This is kind of funny because around my house, when we say we've got a rat, people are like, what is it? No, but rat is RAT, and it stands for Revenue Allocation Tablet. This is a perfect example of philosophy through planning, knowing the exit, executing, and then reaching a goal. So in one of my previous businesses, we started to get to a point where we had a lot of money coming in. I wasn't used to that. Like I was living paycheck to paycheck most of my life, just like most of you probably would be, you know, just trying to find a way to take the little nickels and dimes and have things add up. So once one of our businesses became extremely successful and we were seeing, 10, 20, 30, sometimes 50,000 a month coming in, we had to figure out what we were going to do with that money because honestly, I would just spend it all. You can ask my wife. But the problem is, I needed a way to be disciplined about what I was going to do. So my philosophy had to change about how I dealt with the money that came in. Here's where the revenue allocation tablet or RAT comes in. It's an idea. I knew where the exit was. The exit was me being a better manager of my money. The game plan or the roadmap was that I needed to learn how to allocate the money into different boxes as it came into the house. So what I did was I looked at my average monthly income. I looked at all my bills. I did a budget. I figured out what would go where, and I would just take percentages. I built an Excel spreadsheet. Every time I would receive money coming into the business or coming into my house, then I would just take that and put it in there, put the date, put the amount, and then all the boxes and the columns moving across the spreadsheet would just tell me by percentage how much money to deposit into each one of the different accounts. I had an account for the house, account for the cars, account for fun, account for vacation, account for savings, account for crypto. So I would just always knew how much money that I could use just by looking at a particular bank account and saying that's what I have because I was able to allocate the money to those boxes, so to speak, and basically keep all the money separate. I never had to worry about the mortgage or the bills or anything like that. Set them up for automatic because if I knew that what I was making per month, if 5% of what was coming in would cover my budget, I just put 10% into that account. So if 1,000 came in, 100 went into that account. If 10,000 came in, 1,000 went into that account. And I never worried about, going forward, how those bills would be paid or where that money would come from because it wasn't in the main checking account. It was in a separate account that was set up for just the bills to be paid out of. This may be something that you would want to look at doing. I know for me, it was important because I was able to really become a better steward of my money, but also I had more money than I knew what to do with in the fun money category. So if we want to go out to eat or go somewhere nice, if there's $1,000 in your fun money account, you can do whatever you want, right? So it changes things for you. You'll end up eventually changing the RAT tablet too if you start to use it. Because you'll pay off a car, you'll pay off your house, you'll have so many different things in so many different boxes, and it really kind of helps because your philosophy changes to where you are executing the plan that you set out, and you're putting the money into the boxes and you're allocating that way. Now, how does this relate to cryptocurrency? Okay, long story short, by keeping a journal every day and keeping that RAT tablet going, what happened over time is a mechanic or habit started to develop. I don't even think about doing that anymore. I just do it automatically. When the money comes in, it goes in there until I've highlighted the little boxes on the Excel spreadsheet saying that I made those deposits or moved that money. I kind of feel like, man, there's something I didn't do. What is it? I'll look at the Excel sheet, and if all the boxes aren't highlighted yellow, it just means there's one more thing I got to do today. I got to move the money into the right boxes so that everything's set up properly. With cryptocurrency, it's very similar because you need to know what your plan is before you get involved. Crypto is very new. People don't really know what they're doing. The majority of people in crypto are either coming from a stock background or a day trading background or a Forex background. And there's some things that are, different in the crypto world that don't come over well from there. So with crypto, you had to find a way to take emotion out of your process. The best way to take emotion out of your process is to have a plan that's written down that you can execute, that you don't have to worry too much about what do I do now? What do I do next? When you have a system that you can execute, you will be comfortable because you know what you're going to do next. And when something pops up, you don't go, oh no, what? I mean, this thing just took a huge hit. Do I sell? You're not even thinking about that because you have a plan. You have adapted a strategy, right? When you gain comfort from having that system in place, it makes you a better trader or a better investor, however you want to title yourself, makes you a better crypto person. But the result that you're looking for is going to come from following those same actions over and over again. And the truth is with cryptocurrency, there's new tokens coming out every single day. So what I've developed is a strategy that I like to call 1x, 4x, 1x. Now this is 1 times, 4 times, 1 times. So if you write down 1x, then a 4x, then a 1x, this is my strategy for how to build a massive portfolio in cryptocurrency where you have a collection of coins that are paying reflections back to you, and you're not even concerned about the balances because it's all profit. Now, this is how this works, okay? When you find a token that you like, and let's say you're in a group like our Tango crypto group, where we talk about the new tokens that are coming out, we vote on them, we discuss them. If we like it, we invest in it. If we don't like it, we throw it in the trash, right? I mean, we do this every day, all day in this group. And it's a fantastic group because it works well. All the people involved are really just seeking one same thing, and that's to make a profit, build a portfolio of a long-term passive residual income stream with cryptocurrency. And that's what we're doing, and we're executing it. So we're going through all these new tokens, and we're looking for something that we decide that we want to buy. And once we find one that we really like, then we talk about it and we say, hey, we want to go heavy on this, or we're just going to put maybe throw 1 or 2 BNB at it, just a small investment, see what it's all about. The reality is, once you put your money in, that's your 1x. Okay, so let's say just for round numbers, let's say you put $1,000 into a brand new token that just launched. You're right there on one of our live streams as it goes live. You're buying it within seconds of it going live. All right, I know you could get in the pre-sale, probably make a little more money, but we're just going to use a basic example today. You get in this token at launch, you put in $1,000. What happens next? You look at the charts, you see what's happening with some of these tokens. If it's not a scam or a rug pull, what will happen over the next couple of hours or days or weeks, whatever it is for that particular token, you're going to see it start to rise up in price. As it rises up in price, you'll be able to calculate where you are in the process. So if you've got 1,000 in, and let's say it goes to $4,000 in value, that's 4x, or 4 times your initial investment. Now here's where the strategy kicks in, and you just execute according to the game plan, so you don't have to be emotional. You can just be mathematical, right? You're just a calculator. You're just performing a mathematical computation. Or like my revenue allocation tablet, you're just taking the money and putting it in the box that it belongs in. So at 4x, or $4,000 on this $1,000 investment, you take out the $1,000, which is 1x. Now that's going to leave $3,000 still in the token, which is good because you have the equity, you have tokens, right? You're going to receive reflections equivalent to your share of that token's pool, or whatever they're paying out in reflections, whether it's its own native coin, BUSD, Bitcoin, whatever it is. But the reality is, what you just did was you took your money out. That's 100% return on investment. Now the $3,000 that you have in that token, that's the house's money. It's no longer a liability on your balance sheet. It's a 100% owned in your pocket, part of your net worth asset. And not only that, but because the token is going to pay reflections, that $3,000, let's say, that's in the token, it's just going to continue to spit off residual income back to you every single hour as long as that coin is still in existence. So the long-term strategy is rinse and repeat, right? You could take this $1,000, put it into a token. Let's say that token hits 4x today on the first day. It launches at 2. By 8 o'clock tonight, you've already made $4,000. Take the grand back out, put it back inside your wallet. So now you're sitting there with a couple of BNB, right? You've already got your money back. The token is now 100% owned, and who cares what it does after that? It could go completely to zero and you wouldn't really lose anything because it was profit the whole way. You got your investment back. All you lost was the chance to make more money in the future. Now, is that going to happen? Yeah, sometimes it will. But just think, if you get your hands on a really good token, there's some perfect examples from this past month of October. Evergrow, Nobility, Crypter, you put your money into these things, they skyrocket in price. You take your money out, you still have a massive piece of that token, and you're just going to get reflections over and over and over and over and over and over. And your money that you started with is still in your pocket. It's a long-term strategy that I feel like if you put it into place with these reflecting coins, you'll you'll tend to do a little less day trading, right? So, because day trading a reflecting coin is not the smartest idea. The tokenomics on a coin, I mean, if you're paying a 12% tax when you buy and you're paying a 12% tax when you sell, that's a 24% tax across those two transactions. That's a tremendous loss if you think about it. Not only that, but if you're day trading it, you have to sell at a peak, and then it's got to drop at least 24% in price before you buy back in, or you're losing money by day trading it. So a lot of people are thinking like reflecting coins are stocks. I personally don't feel like they are. I think they're investments. I think they are a passive residual income stream that can be generated for your house. And the oldest rule in the book is that you need to have multiple streams of income. So what is this but a really great strategy to create that for your family? And in crypto, you can start with $50. I mean, I have friends of mine that are in the Tango crypto group that put $100 into Evergrow when we first moved into it, and now it's tens of thousands of dollars from that $100. They've long since gotten their money back out of it, and they're getting hundreds of dollars a day in reflections from that coin because it's absurdly popular and successful. Now, if you put $100 into something and a month later it's worth $20,000, who cares what happens next? You do that with one coin in your life, you're set. But with this process, if you learn to do it and you do it consistently and persistently over time, what'll happen is you could take that same $1,000 that you start with and just keep using it over and over and over and over and over and over. And a year from now, you might have 100 tokens that are paying you reflections. I can't think of a better situation, and I'm sure you would agree, that'd be a great situation to be in. Most people will look at somebody like me or somebody who's done something like this and say, well, you're an overnight success. Where were you 10 years ago? Well, 10 years ago, I was still learning all this stuff that I needed to put into my brain to be able to even have this conversation with you today. So I'm not lucky. I'm just persistent. I've been at it a long time, and success comes from working something over and over and over again. Trust me, if your head is hurting from beating it against the wall, you're going to be successful soon. So, this is my second video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm glad that you're here. I'm open to questions. Please feel free to comment below, like the video. Reach out to me through direct message if you're interested in joining our Tango crypto group. We'd love to have you. We can have that conversation individually. So just reach out whenever you get a chance. And thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you in the next video.